It's Red Eye Radio. Gary McNamara and Eric Harley talk about everything from politics to social issues and news of the day. Whether you're up late or you're just starting your day, welcome to the show. From the Uniden America Studios, this is Red Eye Radio.
All across America, we are Red Eye Radio. He is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Welcome and good morning. Thanks for being here this morning. Really interesting article from Byron York in the Washington Examiner. Does America have the resolve to deport illegal border crossers? That's really the question that we have here.
Yeah.
And he writes, speaking of Minneapolis, writer Mickey Kaus said, the local protesters do not want the illegals deported, period. As we have said, you know, the shooting of Pretti was all based on Border Patrol going after an illegal immigrant criminal. They don't care about that.
Right.
The local protesters do not want the illegals deported, period. Even if the ICE force was incredibly well-trained, wore white gloves, followed the Waldorf Astoria rules of etiquette, if they are effective, local dissenters will press forward with resistance until it produces confrontations and some violence. That's the way it worked in the anti-war movement that I was a part of.
Yeah.
This is certainly the way it's working in Minneapolis. The question for immigration activists is whether they can set off similar struggles around the country. On Meet the Press Sunday, Deputy Attorney Todd Blanche blamed sanctuary jurisdictions in which Democrat local and state governments forbid local law enforcement from cooperating with federal immigration enforcement for a lot of the problems in Minneapolis. What we see all over the country, save a few sanctuary cities like Minneapolis, is, hang on a second here, is we see enforcement from the locals so we can do the operations safely. Keeping U.S. citizens and others protected and safe is not what we have in Minneapolis. One key question now, can the forces resisting federal law enforcement in Minneapolis nationalize the struggle? Boosted by the furor over immigration enforcement personnel's killing of Renee Good and Alex Pretti, plus the agency's general reputation for heavy-handedness, the resistance has made huge progress. Trump is now hearing voices from his own side telling him to tone ICE down. So, you know, that's why you and I, and we said it a week ago, we said, look, listen to what Holman's saying. Holman won't get involved.
Yeah.
And you can't say, no one can say out there that Holman has gone soft on illegal immigration.
No.
You cannot make that case.
No.
But it's always the balance of doing what you need to do and ensuring that you always have the public behind you.
Yep. Well,
go ahead.
And that's it, because if they're not behind you, they're with the opposition. And when the opposition, again, feels empowered, it becomes even more dangerous for everybody involved. You know, one of the things about the judge who basically took an illegal immigrant out the back door when federal officials were waiting in the hallway to detain him, and she knew that, was that she put that illegal immigrant in harm's way by ensuring that there was going to be a chase. They don't care. She still thinks today she's a hero and did nothing wrong. This is the mindset of the people who want to disrupt and obstruct justice and law enforcement, and it's everywhere you look. The question is, because law enforcement still has a job to do, and they should still do it. What can you control from that perspective in order to mitigate that situation and get to the target safer, quicker, more efficiently, quieter, all the above, in order to finish the mission.
So, as we have stated before, and, Walsh, the other, what was it, yesterday or the day before, was talking about the fact that this is like Anne Frank.
Wow.
And Jewish organizations were not happy with that.
I think it was the Holocaust Museum who issued a statement.
You're right. It was Yep, you're right.
Let's not politicize Anne Frank's story, please.
But think about this, because this is the truth. There is nothing being said here that is not the truth.
Yeah.
ICE and the Border Patrol is enforcing the law that was created by the elected representatives of the people in a constitutional republic. There is nothing fascist about it. There is nothing Nazi about it. They're enforcing the laws of the elected representatives of the people of the United States. You may not like the law, but if I start attacking IRS agents, I probably have a problem because I don't like my tax rate.
Yeah, right.
If I start interfering because I don't like the tax, they're taking my property. I'm an American citizen. Remember, what these people are fighting for in Minneapolis is for the safety and freedom of criminal, illegal immigrants in this country. It's not about the illegal immigrant who doesn't have a deportation order, or just the illegal immigrant who is here. It's also about protecting illegal immigrants that have committed crime. They don't differentiate between any of them.
Well, remember the apartment building where the Venezuelan gang had taken over the apartment, basically. And when they moved in to enforce that, now they were already gone because somebody believes there was a leak that gave them a heads up. The gang members had already gone. But when they showed up, protesters were there. These were gang members. And protesters were telling ICE officials, don't you dare. You don't have the right to deport violent gang members.
Yeah. Understand what they're fighting for there. Now, you can get into the debate with the American public. Now, we know what the American public thought a year ago. The American public, a majority, and if you take an average of all the polls, it was close to 60% believed all illegal immigrants should be out of the country.
Right.
All right. So that was all. Now, there wasn't illegal immigrants that have deportation orders and criminal illegal immigrants, but when you got to criminal illegal immigrants, it was way over 80%.
Yeah.
And they really don't hit illegal immigrants with deportation orders.
Right.
That's what Homan has hit over and over again. Let's take care of all that. Let's get the judges doing their jobs. And then if the people are, again, not reporting, then at that particular point, we should deport them because they're not following the rules. But the agitators, the now coordinated, as we now know, FBI looking into the whole signal thing, how coordinated is this? Who's giving the information to these protesters? How come it's so well organized? How come they know the license plates? How come they know the exact locations? Where are they getting all this information from? Who is leaking it? Has the Border Patrol and ICE been not secretive enough in what they're attempting to do?
Right. No, I mean, that was the question on the gangs that had taken over the apartment complex in Colorado. They were gone before ICE got there, and they know that was a leak.
Yeah.
So now you look at the pattern since then, which is clearly a pattern. How do they know ICE is going to be there?
So does the American public agree with the agitators that ICE and the Border Patrol should be completely gone from Minnesota? Do they agree with the governor who has filed suit that the federal government has no business in Minnesota, that illegal immigrant criminals and illegal immigrants with deportation orders should be allowed to stay. I think it was Katie Pavlich who said, you should have every governor of every red state offer bus rides to Minneapolis.
Yeah, that's happened before.
If they're not going to cooperate, if they want the criminal element, if they want people that are not supposed to be in the United States, and the people of the United States say, well, we thought we wanted to deport them, but we didn't want to know how the sausage was made.
Right.
We didn't want to see anything.
Right.
Well, then offer free bus rides to every illegal immigrant that wishes to go to a blue state.
Well, because
or direct them to You want to go to Minneapolis? That's a place we'll send you to the sanctuary cities in liberal states.
Well, who knew, Gary, that law enforcement required guns? I gotta check this because I took a picture of it. It was on my TV screen. It was a YouTube video. Let me see if I can pull this up here. No, that's not it. But it was NBC News over the weekend. And it was something to the effect of, sending in armed forces and the whole thing. And it was a story on their NBC News YouTube channel. I thought, this is, again, Jake Tapper and Ferguson all over again. These police are armed. Military-like gear and apparel. You mean protective gear? This is where they are. I mean, I don't know if we've heard anybody actually say it. Now, they want to defund ICE. They want to abolish ICE altogether. But has any person among them on the left yet called for, well, we should just disarm ICE? They get what the protesters have. Well, some of the protesters in the past, this doesn't necessarily relate to Pretti, have guns.
Well,
Alvarado, Texas.
Well, when you see that Bashir in Kentucky said the first thing we have to do is demand that the federal government pulls all these officers out of all of our cities.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what they're saying is we do not want to enforce any immigration law in the United States is now the official position of the Democrats. Do Americans agree with that? No immigration enforcement.
Right.
So if you have no immigration enforcement of people that are illegal immigrant criminals, illegal immigrants with deportation orders, well, then why should we secure the border? If that's what America wants, go back to Biden.
Right. Well, no, I mean, this is what ultimately they want: open borders. They want, the extremists want open borders. Democrats want open borders.
Getting back to the article from Byron, New York, what does the American public want?
Right.
The American public made it clear, and it was huge majorities. If you had a deportation order or you were a criminal, out of the country, like 80%.
Yep.
Illegal immigrants just here.
Right.
That don't have deportation orders or aren't criminals, still it was a majority of the public. Well, now, what does the public want now? Does the public agree that the federal government has no business when it comes to deporting illegal immigrant criminals and illegal immigrants with deportation orders and illegal immigrants? We'll give all the three classifications there.
Right.
Is that what the American? Because that's what the Democrats want. The Democrats don't want any illegal immigrant, whether they're a criminal, whether they're an illegal immigrant with a deportation order, or whether they're an illegal immigrant. They don't want any of them gone.
No. They want an open border.
Yeah.
No enforcement of the law.
Yep.
Abolish ICE. No. Abolish the border. That's where we are. I mean, the question is, where are the majority of people? The Democrats want the open border.
Oh, yeah.
But
absolutely.
take the poll.
The Democrats want illegal immigrant criminals
Oh, yeah.
to stay in the country.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yep. Just
Because you wouldn't say, as Bashir said, and he's considered a moderate, pull ICE and the Border Patrol out of all of our cities. You might say, well, what's wrong that it's happening in Minneapolis? But there's no problem elsewhere in the nation. They're hoping to make it nationwide, the agitators, but it hasn't happened.
Well, again, because it's highly organized. Focus on Minnesota. This is the game by those that are organizing all of this to get the agitators out there.
Right.
And it's very clear. And as you said, I don't know, when did we say that? Was it a week ago, 2 weeks ago? It's going to get worse. It was after Goods shooting.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse, and it did.
We are Red Eye Radio.
Brought to you by FPPF, Fuel Power Max.
Leased owner-operators should be aware of 4 common revenue myths. Myth 1, concentrate on increasing revenue because costs will take care of themselves. Myth 2, more revenue per mile is the answer to all problems. Revenue per mile really doesn't change much from company to company. Myth 3, all you have to do to be successful is run a lot of miles. In reality, revenue is only half of the profit equation. Myth 4, you can tell how well you're doing by the size of your settlement check. The settlement check is only a part of the success picture. Miles driven, loads hauled, conditions, mechanical problems, time off, and especially costs all have to be considered. Owner-Operator Business 101 is provided by Overdrive's Partners in Business program. Go to overdriveonline.com to the Partners in Business section of the website for more details on this and many other topics. Brought to you by Shell Rotella, with advanced synthetic technology is designed to help keep your rig running with more mileage and less maintenance.
Lines open for your calls. 866-90-RED-EYE on Red Eye Radio.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. Reading this from Ari Fleischer from a couple of days ago. When confronted by law enforcement, Alex Pretti should have immediately complied, kept his hand visible and away from his holster, and he had a duty to say he was carrying a concealed weapon.
Yes.
He would have been temporarily disarmed and probably not even arrested. Carrying a concealed weapon comes with responsibilities, especially during any interaction with law enforcement. And
Everything
that's the whole
you
point.
and I said.
Remember, he was fighting the whole time.
Right.
At that point, he's resisting her. You go, sorry, hands up in the air, I'm done.
Right. And you make them aware.
Yes.
I'm a licensed gun owner, and I'm carrying right now, and you've got both hands visible. So they can see everything that's going on. But then you resist, and you still haven't made that clear.
Yeah.
The agents had to find that weapon. You didn't disclose that. That's a very clear high level of irresponsibility. That's irresponsible behavior that is dangerous and irresponsible, clearly. There's so much to go through on this. So much, but I would never think in many states, if you have a license to carry, or conceal and carry, depending on the state. If you have a license or conceal and carry, you are bound by the law to disclose that you have your gun on you and present your license if police are approaching you or pulling you over on a stop.
Yep.
There's a reason for that law.
On our website, RedEyeRadioshow.com. Show info with stations, podcasts, and more. Red Eye Radio.
And he is Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. All right, let me just, by the way, download our Red Eye Radio app today before we get back to the other stuff. Looking right now at the breakdown of energy sources right now in Texas.
Yeah.
Natural gas, 52.8%, making electricity and the lights stay on in Texas. Coal, 17%. Actually, natural gas, 53%. Coal, 17%. Nuclear, 8%. So about, what would that be? 67%. Is that 67%? Let me just make sure I got that right. No, about 71%. The other 25% wind.
Yeah.
Wow.
29%. If it's 71, there's 29% wind.
No, there's a few other 0.2% other, and then power storage.
Elon Musk's
Power storage Power storage has been a constant draw, negative 5.7%.
Yeah, yeah. You think? Well, but here's the question on wind. Because those turbines have to go into protective mode below freezing, especially a hard freeze. Unless that technology's been updated recently, and I'm not aware of it.
They were down when it got really cold the other day.
Yeah.
When it got bad, they were down to like 14%.
Because
the
turbines, and I don't know if they cycle through this on and off or not, but they go through protective mode, basically, those wind turbines below freezing in order to keep everything warm and the wind turbine working. There's an oil that's used in order to protect the turbine's operation. I don't know if that's a constant until it gets above freezing or if they just cycle through that and then go back to producing energy. But there was a story during after freeze apocalypse, especially big stories on how they don't produce during freezing weather because they have to go into protection mode. But
now, let me see. So, wow, solar zero.
What? What? Wait a minute. You're saying the sun doesn't provide energy at 2:00 in the morning?
No, nothing. It's useless. What about the moon? Can we get any moon power?
Moon powered.
Now it didn't get.
I'm moon pie powered, but that's different.
It didn't get as cold as they said it was going to get.
No, I can't remember. Well, the forecast was all over the place, and right now I can't remember what the.
Well, they had said
the end forecast.
They had
was.
said it at one point. I think it was Saturday night, 6 degrees.
Yeah, 6 degrees.
We got to 13.
Right.
Remember, during freeze apocalypse, it got down to minus 3 degrees below zero.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference there, if you're looking, I'm just look as a comparison to my area, that's a 16-degree difference. That's a huge amount of power.
Mm-hmm.
So
sure.
Texas had no problem. They always had enough reserves. I know because I was checking every 2 minutes while I was sitting on my recliner watching whatever dumb TV was on.
Right. Yeah.
Because that's the interesting thing, except for cleaning the house, by the time it gets dark, I don't feel like cleaning the house at 7:00. I mean, I actually was sitting there saying to myself, there's actually nothing to do.
Yeah.
Yes, you could read, watch TV, whatever, but there's nothing like productive I could do.
Well,
like cut the lawn, go outside and do something. Now, I did have to take my stuff because my refrigerator broke. I had to take it and put it in a cooler and set that outside. But other than that, there's not much you could do. It's like, maybe I'll take oh, no, I can't take a walk. I'm old. I can't fall.
So I have to say this. My wife and I don't get movie night because we never have the time anymore. Between going to visit our parents and everything else going on, we really don't have that. But since we were trapped in the house, we rented One Battle After Another. It's a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio. I know you're going. The look on your face was what? Yeah. Well, most other people apparently didn't either because it didn't do well at the box office. But then I learned it's nominated for an Oscar. Actually,
okay.
A couple of people. I think Leonardo might be. And then Sean Penn. Okay, this is a bizarre, weird. At first, the first 20 minutes of the movie, my heart was racing and I couldn't. And my wife was like, hold on a second. Hold on. Wait. We'll see where it's going. Because I was going to turn it off because it was full on, over the top liberal propaganda. This group that interferes with border patrol agents.
No, come on. You're
Yep.
making this up.
I didn't know that's where it was going. And the group has a name, but they, and then you get into it. It's a dark comedy. And what I didn't know, I had to read up on it after, or when it was nominated at the Golden Globes. Again, I don't care anything about the Golden Globes. It was actually competed as a comedy in the comedy category because the first 20 minutes aren't funny at all. And it was like, I didn't know where they were. And I didn't know it was a comedy. And I paused it. My wife and I are trying to pick this thing apart because it was way too obvious of this being a liberal propaganda movie, right? Way too obvious. These were violent antagonists that were getting involved, blowing up empty offices and the whole thing, planting bombs, very violent. And then it gets into this other part of the movie. This thing, by the way, was 2 hours and 40 minutes long. That's how bad the ice storm was. I watched it. Yes, it was liberal propaganda. But if you get into it, it was almost like a Coen Brothers movie, and especially in the middle of the movie. And some of the lines from the movie are hilarious lines. And at the end of it, it's like, because I read up on it and there were some people saying, in fact, some critics came out and said, no, the intention of it was to make fun of both the extremists on the left and the extremists on the right. And by the way, Sean Penn plays a colonel in the, it's not the Border Patrol, but I don't know, ICE or whatever he was part of. And he's always, he's this, real strong military guy, ridiculous character. And then I thought, well, yeah, but it's Sean Penn. I expect that. It's going to be a ridiculous character. It's Leonardo DiCaprio. It's going to be a ridiculously left movie. But then you get into some of the moments, some of the lines in the movie. Not all of the movie's comedy, or at least it wasn't funny. But some of the lines were some of the funniest lines, and then it was like, yeah, they're making fun of both sides. Clearly, that was the intent. That was my take. Still leans left in terms of propaganda. But I'm thinking to myself, how did I fall into this movie on this weekend with the Pretti shooting and everything else? Yeah. It was like, you know what? I think I want to watch this movie. Okay, we got time. Okay, boom, there we go. I spent the money. I was about to turn it off. I looked at my wife and I said, about 15 minutes in, I said, yeah, I don't think I can do this. This is stupid.
I may have you beat. No, I didn't watch any football. I didn't watch any of the football games. In fact, I did watch the golf, though. Yeah. The first golf tournament that Scotty Scheffler played in this year. Of course, he won it. Yeah. Like, oh, my gosh. He is a great golfer. He really is. Mm-hmm. But that was on during the day when I was cleaning. I can watch golf and clean,
Right.
It's not like you have to, it's not, the announcer's not screaming like, and he just made the most incredible touch. That's not happening. So I watched that, but at night, I was laughing as I was watching it, saying, I got to make sure I mention it when I go back on the air. I watched this documentary of not just the generalities, but precisely how they built the Golden Gate Bridge.
Wow.
From every single thing, like how they do the strands for the cable and everything, and how they precisely do it and the tension. All I could think of was, my God, that was done in the 1930s. you think about it, the basic physics and engineering concepts exactly the same back then as they are now, but how they actually built, even before they got the caissons down there to build the support structure, how they actually put pipes down there and blew up the bedrock, and then how they did it to the precision that they did it, and then you see the precision of the towers. And the towers, they have to, the towers, I mean, the tolerances that they had on the base where it sits, are within 1/1000th of an inch. It's unbelievable how it is. And then when you think about it, when I looked at it, I'm going, oh, my God, that's almost, the suspension's almost a mile long.
Right.
And the engineering, because you'd be thinking back then in the 30s, I'm not going on that thing.
Right.
You're out in the middle. That thing's going to be flopping all over the place.
Right.
That's what you would think.
Right.
But I went through that entire thing, and then the other thing that came on afterwards. Then what was it? The story of Lockheed Martin building. Was it the L-188 Electra, which was one really they built a turboprop in between. Going from propeller planes to jets, and how it was a great plane, but really only stayed around for a couple of years. Because,
I'm sorry, wind-powered planes. Remember?
Yes, wind-powered planes. Yes. And they talked about the fuel efficiency and all that. That's what I want. If you want to know how boring my life is, that's what I was watching.
By the way, in that movie, Leonardo's character's on the phone, and he has to give the code word because he's from that violent group, but they haven't been active in a while.
No.
He's trying to get the code, and then he can't remember the code because he smoked too much weed. No, it gets funny at parts. And then the guy on the other end, he starts cursing at the guy, and he goes, listen, you're triggering me right now. They were making fun of liberals. It's not all liberal propaganda. They were making fun of liberals because the guy goes through it and he goes, I don't feel safe in this space right now. And they're on the phone. And so they were, I just thought to myself, first of all, again, the timing, I had no idea what the movie was about. It was posted as a thriller. I thought, okay. And then the first 15 minutes might drive you crazy, but wait for it because there's some funny lines. If you want to watch it, I don't care if you watch it or not, actually. But it didn't do anything at the box office. But
you've basically convinced me from the minutia, going through the minutia and all the highlights of the movie, that I will never, ever watch that movie.
Well, you know what you do? Wait about 10 minutes, right? Because somebody on YouTube will put the funniest lines together from that movie. That's all you need to watch.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh!
I like that. I've watched a lot of movies that way.
Yeah.
I'm really wondering if my attention span, unless like I said, the thing I watched on the Golden Gate was like an hour and a half long. I watched the whole thing.
Right.
And I was mesmerized. I had to go back and go, I don't understand how they did that. I got to go back and look at it. That I could do.
Right.
I don't remember. It's been a couple of years since I actually sat through a brand new movie.
No, it's been a while for me and my wife. We used to have, usually it was like once a month, we could afford the time to spend an hour and a half, 2 hours on a movie on the weekend. But we haven't had that in a while.
But I've started movies. I haven't seen this movie. They watch it. I'll get 10 minutes in and go, sorry, you're not getting to any point. I'm done.
Right.
And I'm thinking, is it the movie or do I have a different sensitivity?
No, the sensibilities, I think, for a lot of us have changed, and Hollywood doesn't care because it's a message movie. And while that one is, one battle after another is definitely a message movie, it at times is a Coen Brothers type movie that is hilarious. Benicio del Toro breaks out, his character breaks Leonardo's character out of a hospital where he's being detained by police, but he's being treated. And when they get in the car, Benicio del Toro says, "Oh, that's awesome. Let's take a selfie." And it's just like out of nowhere. And it's Benicio del Toro saying it. I mean, it's very funny at times.
Maybe I'll watch part of it.
It's very, don't take it too seriously either way, even if it's propaganda.
We are Red Eye Radio.
We'll be right back with more Red Eye Radio with Eric Harley and Gary McNamara.
We are Red Eye Radio. He's Eric Harley, and I'm Gary McNamara. To put an entire umbrella over everything that's been going on, we're right now in a situation with this country where you have the radical left that does not want to enforce any type of laws.
Right.
They really don't.
Right.
I mean, it's starting here with illegal immigration, and it starts with illegal immigrant criminals and deportation orders, all that stuff. They don't want any illegal immigrant, whether they're a criminal or not, gone from this country, and they figure that agitation that causes violence will stop the American people from enforcing the law. That's where we're at now.
Yep.
This is Red Eye Radio on Westwood One.